And then I just broke it down. My initial goal was to get into the top 5. And fortunately, 3rd, 4th, and 5th were running together. So I was very quickly in the top 3. And then all of a sudden, it was a positive day. And once you start putting a positive spin on things, that positive mindset can really carry you. And that was my fastest marathon ever on the Big Island. And as much as it was painful to hop off the bike and see that big deficit, it drew out a really great performance. And I look back on that performance as mentally my best race ever.
Welcome to the Beck and Siri Show.
And here at Team Sirius Tri Club, it's not just about swim, bike, run. It's about who you become. On our show, we don't just talk to you about swimming, cycling, and running.
We talk about mindset. We talk about fearless authenticity and being your very best self.
The legend herself is on. We're so excited. It's okay. We don't do anything to have Rinny on. We don't care if we go be sideways for.
Hold on, let me just fix this.
I was just talking about us, Vincent, and our long, illustrious history together, and that truly my times with Vincent. I'm going to call her Vincent, guys. It's Mirinda. Rinny. But my times together with Rinny, some of my most incredible memories are with Rinny. Some of my most incredible times. We've grown together. She as an athlete, me as a coach. It's been the most beautiful and fulfilling and amazing relationship. And I'm so grateful to you, Vincent. You mean the world to me. You guys, this is not only one of the greatest champions this sport has ever seen, but she is an absolute champion of a human being. And I love you with all my heart. And now I'll leave it to the club.
Truth. I want to ask the first question, Rin. What have you been up to the last week or so? I see you've been getting into big bike mileage.
Yeah, Julie's group had like a 1,000-kilometer bike week. I think she just wanted to shake things up. It was kind of a fun challenge, actually. There's not really that much to be inspired by or motivated by at the moment, and I think it was really fun for the group to kind of tackle just like that challenge. And honestly, like, I didn't do the whole thing, but I rode probably about half of it, and it was so much, like, we didn't really run a whole lot. So when you're not running and cycling a lot, I mean, I think the whole group were like, oh, what wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. And they all bounced back pretty quick. They were like, I mean, I guess tired for a few days after for sure, but it was kind of, it was fun. I don't know. I really enjoy riding in Colorado at this time of year. It's beautiful out there. The mountains are absolutely stunning. And it was really nice to like have a bit of a focus for the week.
Amazing. Now, when you're talking 1,000 kilometers in a week, how many hours would that be about every day?
I think they rode about 30 hours for the week. Is that right, Kim? About 30 hours. They just did big days on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So they did 7 hours on Monday, 7.5 on Wednesday. Friday, they probably only did 6.5. And then Sunday, I think they did, between 6 and 7. But they mixed it up. They did Trail Ridge one day, which is just an epic ride up, the highest paved mountain paved road in the US, I think. Don't quote me on that, but but they did that ride, which is beautiful. I've done that a couple of times. And then one of the other days was Big Thompson, which is one of my favorites, up to Estes Park. And then they kept going up to, past the lake along the Peak to Peak Highway. And then what else did they do? Oh, they did Poudre Canyon and Wrist Canyon, which is way out north, sort of towards Fort Collins. And they did just another ride kind of out east on the flats on the last Sunday to nail, I think they did 140 miles on the last day or something like that, which is a lot of biking. But yeah.
Amazing. Mary Carmen, I want you to be able to ask some of the team's questions, because I know we've got so many questions and we don't want to keep you too long.
Yeah.
We respect your time and everyone's time here.
So
Hi, Mary. Hi, MC. How are you? Good to see
great
you.
to see you. Thank you for being here today. First of all, we really appreciate your time and we're so happy. Honestly, like everyone was like, oh my God, Rinny's gonna be there. Like, no joke. We're truly happy to have you. I'm gonna start with the first question. It says, when you got off the bike in 2014, date and everything, and you, Daniela, was almost 15 minutes ahead, did that deflate you or put more fire in your belly that you could run her down?
I think if you talk to Siri, she would probably say the fire in her belly was burning bright. And that was evidence because I saw her at about maybe half a mile into the run, and she was like, I think she told me, "You are in the perfect position."
She
And
did.
I'm
I
like,
was there.
and I'm just like, what is she watching? Is she watching the same rate? Like, is she on this planet? I was a little deflated, to be honest. Coming off the bike that far down was certainly, I knew Daniela would be a good runner, and I knew she was going to be a threat for the whole race. It was her first time racing in Kona, and I was defending champion, so I was kind of a little deflated coming off the bike. I felt like I, had failed a little bit, but I think, I saw Siri and she was fired up as ever, and I kind of got, a mile, half a mile saw Siri, and then about a mile into the race, I started to get my head around trying to have my best run performance, and nothing else mattered. Like I kind of let go of, I'm defending champion, I should be winning this race, or like within striking distance of winning this race, and I'm like 15 minutes or 14 and a half minutes behind the lead. Just letting go of that and just realizing that, okay, I know how to race this race. I have experience here. I've performed well here. I know I've looked after myself on the bike. I know I've paced myself well on the bike. I did every single thing right leading into this race. Siri and I did everything right leading into the race. And so then just focused on the positives and how to execute the perfect marathon to see how far up I could get. And, and my initial goal, I think I was about 8th off the bike. And then I just broke it down. My initial goal was to get into the top 5. And fortunately, 3rd, 4th, and 5th were running together. So I was very quickly in the top 3. And then all of a sudden, it was a positive day. And once you start putting a positive spin on things, that positive mindset can really carry you. And that was my fastest marathon ever on the Big Island. And as much as it was painful to hop off the bike and see that big deficit, it drew out a really great performance. And I look back on that performance as mentally my best race ever.
I agree with that, Rinny. And just from my perspective, I knew that she had raced her race the entire bike ride. And that is what has worked for us. And that's where I thought, okay, she's in perfect position because she will have fueled. She'll have great energy left. She didn't overdo it on the bike, and she can run under 250. I know it with all my heart. And all she had to do was hunt people down. And I knew that would fire her up. Once she saw how well she was running, I knew that she really was in perfect position, 15 minutes down. And man, that was just like one of the greatest days of my life. And I'm sure one of yours, but that was
Absolutely
amazing. And mentally, just her brilliance in her mental game that day was really inspiring.
Where did she catch her?
It was
about 5K to go.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Like after the gas station there.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. Yeah, Vincent, awesome.
That's impressive.
Next question, MC.
Okay, so next question. This is from Janet. It says, during Ironman World Championship race week, how do you balance the media hype the days prior to the race?
Yeah, that's a really tough thing to balance. And I feel like even the first year I went to Kona in 2009, it was a bit of a circus for me. All of a sudden I was kind of the rookie who was expected to come and challenge, the great Chrissy Wellington when she was in her prime on the Big Island. And so I think every single year I've gone to Kona, it's been the same or very similar. I mean, there are definitely years where it was more crazy than others, but I do have a great team. I have Siri on the ground with me there. I have my managers, Shannon and Wendy, and we like probably 6 or 8 weeks in advance start to put together the race week plan. You know when the pro briefing is and the press conference, and then you sort of start to plug in sponsorship appearances. Obviously training comes first, and when I need to rest and when I need to train. So just having a really solid plan in place, like well in advance, like events, like maybe doing back-to-back a couple of appearances, so I'm not down at the expo too long, or trying to do appearances later in the evening and it's not so hot. But honestly, it's all kind of part of it, and every single year I kind of dread that week, but it puts you on edge, and being on edge like that, I think mentally gets you really ready and in the game for the race. And so it's kind of a love-hate. I have a love-hate relationship with race week, but honestly it comes down to having a really good team around you who can get you in and out of those appearances on time, and try and limit the amount of stress or extra stress. So yeah, I mean, we have a solid plan in place well in advance. I kind of know exactly what it is all going to look like, and my bodyguards, Siri has no problem telling people that I cannot talk to them right now, and neither does Wendy and Shannon. So I have my people who make sure I'm doing the right things and getting my feet up and resting.
Awesome.
Thank you. That was great. So the next question is from Megan. How are you dealing with not racing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big adjustment for everybody, just not having a goal. I think that's the biggest hardship. I mean, I think, at this time in my career and this many years of racing, I enjoy the training. I enjoy the challenge of, the process of getting yourself fit and doing the miles and doing the hard yards. It's more like not really having an end goal, and not really knowing like how much you do right now or how little you need to be pushing, and that's been the toughest. But honestly, I kind of tried to just embrace this time. I've been in the sport for a long time, and also obviously my husband has as well, and we have our little daughter Izzy, who is such a wonderful distraction. So spending more time with her. This is the longest we've been able to spend at home in Boulder. And normally this time of year is crazy. We're traveling, we're racing, we're, kind of just working really hard to prepare for October. And it's kind of just nice to take a deep breath. And, this past weekend, we just went up the mountains. We're going to go back up the mountains next weekend. So it's really nice to take this opportunity to do things that we wouldn't normally do. And, I'm hopeful that racing will return sooner than later. I feel like it probably is going to be sometime next year. But I've got my head around that now. And, I'm just kind of enjoying, time with my family and downtime, because, before long we'll be back at it. And, I think there's positives in every situation, and we're just looking for those.
Great answer. Awesome.
Thank you. So the next question is from Berta. So, hi, Rinny, I'm from Mexico, and I often feel often I get negative comments from being a girl in sports. Almost always saying you cannot do it as good as men. Oh, this is good. Have you ever faced negative comments or attitudes towards you for being a woman in endurance sports? And if so, how did you manage your mindset?
I can't even remember a time when or at least maybe I just put them out of my mind. I mean, I'm sure there's been negativity being a professional female triathlete, but I don't know. I don't even acknowledge them, or I kind of let them slip off my back. I mean, I'm doing something that I really love. And I've been pretty successful at doing that thing. And honestly, most of the comments and most of the feedback I've gotten has been really positive. I haven't really gotten too much negativity, and no, mostly respect. And I don't know if, again, if that's just me not listening to the noise, the negative noise, and more focusing on the positive noise. But honestly, there are definitely people that, make comments, but not really in regard to me being a professional female athlete. So I haven't really dealt with that.
Great answer, Vincent. And guys, I would say to that, you decide who you want to let in, whose voice you want to hear, whose, opinions you want to listen to. You decide. And Rinny doesn't let the negativity in. She doesn't invite it in. And that's one of the things that has really made her so successful, one of the millions of things that has made her so successful. But don't let that negativity in. You have the choice. You make the decision. MC, let's say, I respect your time so much, Rinny. I know we told you 15 minutes. Would you be up for one more question?
Yeah, no problem.
MC, you picked the best question in there. It's up to you.
I should have read through them.
You see, Siri, even in online, she's respectful of my time. I don't have a race to do this weekend, Siri. I'm good for time.
Oh, can you do 2 more questions then?
I can do 2 more.
Siri wants one of them. Okay, awesome. Great. I know I'm super protective of you. You know that. So.
Yes.
But thank you for being so generous. We'll do 2 more questions, MC.
You should do Becky's and Gabrielle's, if you can. Oh, that's a good one too.
So I think this is a good one. What is the best piece of advice you can give us regarding setting goals and working towards those goals during this big off-season period?
So the question is just about basically setting goals and best advice about setting.
Yeah, especially for right now it's hard to set a goal if there's no races coming.
Yeah.
So what would you say, what are you doing right now if you're not able to set specific goals for races? How are you going on with setting goals right now?
Well, I think the most important thing with goal setting is to have a really strong vision of what your end goal is. So, throughout my career, it's shifted, in, the past couple of years, but that Kona goal and winning that world championship and being the best I could be on that island, being the fastest ever on that island was my driving force when I, was racing in my prime. And that's not to say I'm done, because I'm certainly not done yet. But having a really, really strong goal end game. And, after that, then you put in the smaller goals and the smaller, so having a really, really strong vision of what your major goal is. So at the end, 5-year goal, 10-year goal, whatever that is, having it so strong that you think about it every day, you feel it, you believe it, you live it, you breathe it, all of that. Then you come back to the smaller goals, and this is a year that is uncertain for everybody. But that's not to say that there aren't things you can work on. And specifically in life, but in sports too, there is always weaknesses. There is always things that you can work on in this time. And, this could be a great time to work on those weaknesses that you sometimes, when you have so many races coming up, you kind of get carried away with getting fit and getting ready for your race, and you overlook, the small details or the niggles or, whatever, you might have a small injury that you've kind of been putting a Band-Aid over. Now it's time to rehab that injury and make it stronger than it's ever been before. We certainly try to do this in the off season normally, but now you basically have a whole year to look at those weaknesses and turn them into strengths. But I think, having motivation to do that is having a strong enough goal or a strong enough vision of what you're trying to achieve. And then it's kind of easy to, get up and do the mundane, the small tasks that will get you there. And so, yes, you can set, short-term, medium-term, long-term goals, but I've really always had just a really strong vision of what my major goal was, and had a really good team around me to help me take the steps to get there. And the steps can be daunting or, you know, you could be so far away from your goal. But I think if you believe in it enough, then you are willing to do what it takes to get there. And that's kind of how I look at kind of goal setting and being motivated to do the work to get there.
Awesome. Amazing answer.
I actually want to ask something to expand on that question. So first, do you think your goals changed since you had Easy? And then would you mind sharing what that big goal for you has been since you started the sport?
My big goal, well, basically since I started, probably a few years in after I like found out about Ironman, was to, you know, win Kona. And not only win Kona, I never told anyone this in the beginning. Obviously Siri would have had some insight, but I wanted to win Kona. I wanted to be the faster than anyone else, and I wanted to win it more than once. And that was a goal that I had when I was like, you know, back in 2005, 2006, when I'd never done an Ironman before. I was okay at ITU distance racing, pretty good at half Ironman distance racing, but that was just like a belief and a goal that I had. And, you know, fast forward to now, and, you know, was able to achieve those goals. And I think the reason I was able to achieve them is because they were so powerful and so strong. And I just always had them in the back of my mind with everything that I did, every session that I did, every like hard session, every session I failed, every race I did well or did poorly. You know, the bad races are the races that you learn from, and work, you know, forward from. The second part of your question was, after having Izzy, how have those goals changed? And after having Izzy, it was like climbing up the mountain again, honestly, seeing, you know, how good I could be as a mother. Felt like I was a different person. I am a different person, but I'm also not a different person. So yeah, it was kind of like, what can Izzy's mum do? So that became my new goal after having Izzy. So yeah.
That's awesome. Vincent, every athlete has something that they don't like doing. They either don't like swimming, they don't like biking, they don't like running. Now you embraced all of it, always so passionately, because you had such a powerful reason why you wanted to be the best you could be. But what would be the one thing, it could be a session or something that you had to do that you really didn't want to do, that you were either afraid of or just... No,
you know the answer to this question.
Like, huh?
You know the answer to this question.
I know, but I think I know. Like, what would that be, and how did you get yourself to embrace it and use it, and how did that benefit you?
My most dreaded session that I just did not like every single week was initially it was 6100s in the pool, and then it was a little more like 5100s. But every Sunday after a long run, you're exhausted. The last thing you want to do is go to the pool by yourself and do anything. Just getting out of the door and going to the pool was a challenge. But getting in and having to do a hard session, that was like the hardest swim session for me of the week, because after that long run and after Saturday, generally you're just exhausted. And I always was so mad at Siri for putting this on my program. And every single time she would say to me, "You need this, it's good for you." And so I would reluctantly go to the pool and do the session. Sometimes I would make it, sometimes I would not make it. Usually I would be mad while I was doing it. But it definitely helped me in the long run. I mean, there was probably the last couple of years where Siri didn't put in my program as much, because I basically wouldn't do it. Because I just was like, after, I don't know, 8 years or 9 years of doing it, I just couldn't do it anymore. But I think, as I mentioned earlier, I would go to the gym, to the pool, and I would do that session because I knew that would help me toward my goal. And that's all that mattered at the end of the day. Whatever it takes to be the the best athlete that I can be on the Big Island in October, I'm going to do. As much as like I detested that session.
Amazing. So you were connected to your why the whole time, and that's what led you there.
Yes.
And
So
guys,
yeah, a week wouldn't go by without ticking off that session if it was on the program.
so let me explain a little, guys, and just a reminder for my Vincent here, is that we very rarely ran over 2 hours, and obviously running,
Wait,
especially.
say that again, because a lot of athletes question why they're not running over 2 hours.
Yes, I mean, Vincent, we very rarely ever ran over 2 hours, but
Mine knew she covered 40K in 2 hours.
But in Kona, you're going to run a marathon not in 2 hours. You're going to be out there, first of all day long, which we are training you to be able to go the distance from start to finish. And in my brain, I was thinking that you go out, you do your 2 hour run, and then you're going to go do another 90 minutes, which would take you to 3.5 hours of aerobic work, and flush out your legs and get the strength back in your arms, because we lose strength when we do long runs. We lose strength in our upper body. Get the upper body strength back, get that extra hour and a half of being aerobic, and that's kind of training your body for what's to come on race day. And Vincent, thank you for so many years dedicating yourself to getting that done. I really believed in it with all my heart, and I appreciate that. But guess what? You don't ever have to do that again.
You don't want
Yes.
to. Let's just
I'll
do
be like
one more.
I'll be like
Insta.
50. I'll be like, I'm gonna just do this one time just to see, and I bet you I still hate it.
Please call me.
Yeah, I'll
Please
do it
call
with
me.
you.
I want to come.
I'll do it with you.
Okay.
I'll do it with you.
I will absolutely be celebrating. Okay, so let me know.
So MC, we can probably wrap up 2 in 1 for the last question. Rin, you probably get this all the time. What is your favorite, basically your favorite run workout and your favorite race, I guess, other than Kona?
My favorite run workout is like 23 minutes on the treadmill,
Cool.
because I knew when I could nail that session that I was going to run fast, and we would work up to that. Actually, we usually start at 15, so we wouldn't really work up that much. But sort of, the back half of the season, probably at least once a fortnight, once every 2 weeks, we would do that run session. And by the time I got to Kona, 2 weeks out, I was doing that session at really solid pace, and it was just easy. And building up to have it feel that easy, I don't know, it can be tough, but once you get to do that session and it feels so easy, it's amazing. And so that's my favorite run session. And what was the other question, Beck?
Your favorite race other than Kona? Like a destination race?
Probably Roth.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was one of the greatest experiences. I mean, I've done a lot of races around the world, and there are a lot of others that come to mind, but Roth was just such a special experience. It's all about the athlete. And I mean, doing that race in 2014, no disrespect to racing in Kona, but they just care about you. Like you kind of remember why. You feel like just kind of part of the puzzle in Kona. You're not really a priority, or I don't know. I feel like you don't get the respect you deserve as a professional athlete, like making it to Kona and racing in Kona. But racing in Roth, like from the age groupers to the professionals, like it just feels like they really just care. And that's just really nice. I mean, it's the little things that they do. It's nothing big. I mean, it's just all the little things that they do for the athletes that make you realize why you're in the sport and why you love the sport so much. So that was a really nice experience.
Awesome.
And you went like 8:30 something there, right?
I don't know.
It was fucking fast.
It
I
was-
was there watching.
I was in bliss all day. It was an amazing.
It was a great day.
Rinny, we want to thank you for being such an incredible role model and inspiration. Little do you know it, you're a mentor to thousands just by people watching how you live your life as a mom, as an athlete, as a wife, as a friend. And we want to thank you for being such a beautiful human and for inspiring us with your brilliant results. And I want to thank you personally for playing such a huge role in my life. I love you dearly, and I'm so proud of you every second of every day.
Yeah, and it's all right back at you, Siri. I love you so much, and you also, wouldn't be here, wouldn't have achieved what I have without your guidance. So, that, and appreciate it always.
Wait, Rin, can we get one of these?
No, that's Siri. Mine's
a different one.
This is
I like the way you're doing that.
But you got to be slick about it, like, hey.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah. Guys, let's all say thank you to Rinny. Best
My
of
pleasure.
luck
Thanks,
for
you guys.
amazing year ahead.
Thank you.
And we love you.
Love you, Rin.
Thank you.
So
Love you
much.
guys too.
Thank you. Say
See you guys. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Rin.
All right, guys, we love you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Hi there, Cam here again. Thanks for listening. And don't forget, if you want to join these chats live and get access to all the other great benefits of Team Sirius Tri Club, you can do so by joining the club at teamsiriustriclub.com.